Okay.
Green Hell throws you deep into the unforgiving Amazon rainforest, a place where every step you take could lead to disaster. With no modern amenities, you're forced to forage for food, build shelter, and craft weapons from the jungle's resources. Green Hell pushes survival mechanics to the extreme, focusing on physical, psychological, and environmental challenges. Not only do you need to manage your hunger, thirst, and stamina, but you also have to keep track of your mental health. Hallucinations and paranoia set in if you don't balance your survival tactics properly. One moment you're crafting a fire, and the next you're battling your own sanity as isolation creeps in. The jungle itself becomes a hostile enemy, with its venomous insects, dangerous wildlife, and even hostile tribes. Every moment in Green Hell is a fight for survival, pushing you to your limits as you battle both the elements and your inner demons. One wrong decision can easily lead to your demise, whether it's from an infection or a poorly planned escape from a predator. The game also adds layers of immersion with its in-depth crafting system, requiring you to build tools, weapons, and shelters with the resources you gather, making every item precious.
Bitch!
Another brutally realistic survival experience can be found in Project Zomboid, a game that places you in the heart of a zombie apocalypse. Unlike many survival games, Project Zomboid is not about defeating hordes of zombies or becoming a hero. It's about lasting as long as you can in a world where the undead, the elements, and your own physical needs are constant threats. The game's intricate survival mechanics require players to manage food, water, shelter, and injuries while scavenging in a world overrun by zombies. The beauty of Project Zomboid lies in its depth. Catch a cold, and it can spread to your group. Neglect a wound, and infection sets in, leaving you vulnerable. It's not just the zombies that you need to fear. It's everything. This game captures the relentless grind of survival, where securing food and water is as essential as finding a secure hiding place from the undead. With the world constantly evolving and the danger ever present, Project Zomboid is an incredibly tense survival experience that forces you to plan, prepare, and adapt on the fly. Build fortifications, scavenge for resources, and see just how long you can make it in a world where the odds are stacked against you. Shifting the setting from land to sea, Subnautica delivers an entirely different but equally challenging survival experience. You crash land on an alien ocean planet, and the majority of the game takes place underwater, creating a feeling of isolation that few survival games can replicate. At first, the shallow waters may seem serene, filled with vibrant coral and curious fish. But as you venture deeper, the world becomes darker, more dangerous, and filled with terrifying creatures that stalk the ocean depths. The sense of wonder and dread in Subnautica is palpable. You'll be amazed by the beauty of the underwater biomes one moment and terrified of what lurks in the dark the next. The game's crafting system is robust, allowing you to build submarines, underwater bases, and high-tech diving suits. But each dive is a calculated risk. Do you explore deeper for rare resources, knowing you may not have enough oxygen to return to the surface? The constant threat of drowning, being attacked, or running out of resources creates a tension that keeps you on edge, making Subnautica one of the most immersive and intense survival games out there. If you're looking for something more whimsical but equally punishing, Don't Starve delivers a dark and quirky take on survival. You're thrust into a procedurally generated world where your goal is simple: survive as long as possible. But Don't Starve is far from easy. The game's stylized art belies its brutal difficulty. By day, you'll gather resources, craft tools, and build shelter. But by night, terrifying creatures emerge from the shadows, turning the game into a desperate scramble for survival. You'll need to manage your hunger, health, and sanity, all while fending off bizarre monsters and dealing with the ever-present threat of starvation. The game's unique crafting system allows for creative solutions to problems, but resources are scarce, and every decision feels critical. The relentless nature of Don't Starve means that each run feels fresh and challenging. The game's quirky art style and dark humor add charm, but make no mistake, Don't Starve is a game that will test your patience and survival instincts to the max. On the other end of the survival spectrum, Pathologic is a game that blends physical and psychological survival into a single harrowing experience. Set in a plague-ravaged town, Pathologic forces you to confront not only the challenge of staying alive, but also the ethical and emotional toll of survival. You play as one of 3 characters, each with their own story, navigating a world where food, medicine, and time are scarce. The plague is rampant, and you must make tough decisions. Who do you help and who do you abandon? The game's haunting atmosphere and morally complex choices make it an experience unlike any other. In Pathologic, survival isn't just about staying alive. It's about maintaining your humanity while the world crumbles around you. The game's eerie tone and constant sense of dread create an emotional weight that stays with you long after you finish playing. If you're looking for a more adventurous survival experience, Ark: Survival Evolved offers a unique blend of prehistoric action and high-stakes survival. You start with nothing but your bare hands on a mysterious island teeming with dinosaurs and other primal creatures. From there, it's up to you to gather resources, craft tools, build shelters, and, most excitingly, tame and ride dinosaurs. The thrill of capturing and riding a T-Rex or a flying pteranodon adds a unique twist to the survival genre, but don't let the dinosaurs fool you. Ark is a brutal game that requires constant vigilance. The game's expansive open-world environment is full of dangers, both from other players in multiplayer and from the wildlife. It's a world where you must evolve and adapt, balancing exploration, combat, and survival tactics to make it through another day. Ark rewards creativity and perseverance, and the sheer scale of the world provides endless possibilities for exploration and adventure. The forest merges traditional survival mechanics with horror, creating a nerve-wracking experience that keeps you on edge from the moment you land on its mysterious island. After surviving a plane crash, you're left to fend for yourself in a forest teeming with cannibalistic mutants. As you explore the island, you'll need to gather resources, craft weapons, and build shelters, all while staying one step ahead of the terrifying creatures that stalk you at night. The game's day-night cycle adds to the tension. By day, you can gather supplies and fortify your base, but when night falls, the mutants come out, and you're thrust into a desperate battle for survival. The island's mysteries are as intriguing as they are horrifying, and the deeper you explore, the more sinister the world becomes. The combination of exploration, survival, and horror makes the forest an unforgettable and heart-pounding experience. Set in a frozen wasteland, The Long Dark offers a more solitary and introspective survival experience. You're not fighting zombies or mutants in the long dark. You're fighting the cold, hunger, and your own isolation. In this post-apocalyptic world, the freezing cold is your greatest enemy. You must find food, water, and shelter while managing your body temperature and the limited resources available in the vast frozen wilderness. The game's emphasis on realism and its slow, methodical pace set it apart from other survival games. Every action in the long dark feels deliberate and meaningful, and the sense of isolation and vulnerability is palpable. There's no rush to build a fortress or defeat waves of enemies. Instead, the game's quiet tension comes from the constant struggle to stay alive in an unforgiving environment. The long, cold nights and the desolate beauty of the game's world make every moment of survival feel like an achievement.
Fingers feel numb.
This War of Mine presents survival in a way that few games do, through the eyes of civilians caught in the middle of a war. Instead of playing as a soldier or hero, you control a group of ordinary people trying to survive in a besieged city. Food, medicine, and supplies are scarce, and you must decide how far you're willing to go to keep your group alive. The game forces you to make difficult moral choices. Do you steal from your neighbors to feed your family? Or do you risk starvation to maintain your humanity? This War of Mine doesn't shy away from the grim realities of war, and its emotional weight makes every decision feel significant. The game's unique perspective and emphasis on moral dilemmas make it a powerful and thought-provoking survival experience that goes beyond just managing resources. For those who enjoy a blend of strategy and survival, Frostpunk is a city-building game that tests your leadership and moral compass in a frozen, post-apocalyptic world. As the leader of the last city on Earth, you're tasked with ensuring the survival of your people by managing resources, enacting laws, and making impossible decisions. The freezing cold is a constant threat, and every decision you make has consequences. Do you enforce harsh laws to keep order, or do you try to maintain your people's humanity? Frostpunk is as much a test of your leadership skills as it is a survival game, and its intense moral dilemmas make every playthrough a unique and challenging experience. The game's atmosphere is cold, both literally and emotionally, and the weight of your decisions can be felt in every corner of your city.
All thank our leader for this bright new day. Now march to work.
Rust takes survival to a whole new level with its multiplayer focus. In Rust, you start with nothing but a rock and must gather resources, craft weapons, and build a base to protect yourself from both the environment and other players. The game's open-world PvP environment creates a constant sense of tension. Other players can attack you at any time, steal your resources, or destroy your base. Trust is hard to come by in Rust, and forming alliances with other players can either lead to mutual survival or bitter betrayal. The game's crafting and building systems are deep, allowing for creative strategies to defend your base. Whether you're gathering resources or raiding another player's camp, Rust delivers an intense, unpredictable survival experience where danger is always just around the corner. Finally, 7 Days to Die combines survival, crafting, and tower defense in a world overrun by zombies. You must scavenge for resources, build fortifications, and survive against waves of zombies that grow stronger every 7 days. The game's crafting system is incredibly detailed, allowing you to build everything from basic shelters to elaborate fortresses. The day-night cycle adds to the tension. During the day, you gather supplies and fortify your defenses. But at night, the zombies come out in full force. Every 7th day, a massive horde attacks your base, and if you're not prepared, it could be the end. The combination of resource management, crafting, and strategic defense makes 7 days to die a highly engaging and intense survival experience.